This is David Brandenburg from Doublehead Software. Today I'm going to show you how to develop a very simple Lightning component to give you a general idea of what's involved in when building a component. For, for those of you not familiar with Salesforce, this is the Salesforce homepage. Each one of these white boxes are Lightning components. So if we click on Edit Page, you can see each component is on the page. And from this main edit page, you can move things around or add additional components if you wanted to. As you can see, there are no custom components currently. So I'm gonna go back to the home page and go into the developer console and begin creating a Lightning page. So the first step is clicking New Lightning Component. Click Demo Component is going to be the name of this component. And I'm just going to select Lightning Page. In my advanced class, I go into more detail what each of these is used for. So click Submit, and the component here is the main UI section where all the HTML is put. So what I'm going to do here is just add a very simple div statement. And then I'm going to save it. So now if we go back to our Lightning page, go back into Edit Page, we should see this component listed. And there it is right there. So we're just going to take this and drag it to the top column over here. As you can see, it saved it. So we're going to click Save and then back. You can see our component is picking up the background behind all these components. So what we forgot to do is actually go into the style sheet and assign the CSS. So we would go into style. This means it's going to be the base or the body of the component. And we can add the background color, white, and I'm going to set the min height to 200 pixels. Going to save that, and then let's go back and look at the component again. And I didn't force a refresh on the page, and you can see the component there. So that's kind of boring, and it doesn't have the header like the other components. So let's go back in and add some more cool features to this component. So if we go back into our console, back to the component, and what we're going to do is add a header class. In this class is going to use some standard Salesforce CSS classes. I'm going to cut and paste this in, and what we're using here is the grid class with the card header. So we're going to add that, and we're going to add in a few more features. Then we're going to add our header in. And all I'm doing here is just adding the header here. And then down here, we still have our old code. So what we're going to do is actually move this up here. You can get all the right HTML tags lined up. And I'm going to click Save. So now if we go back, again, I didn't force a refresh, Control R. You can see that doesn't look that great. We now have the header, but the content is all together. So let's go back and look at the page again. So what we need to do here is add this column in header in size down to this div. Basically what we're saying is this data column or content column is its own column on the page and it's 100% width. That's what size 1 of 1 means. So we go back, close this, and force our refresh on the page. Sometimes in Lightning you have to do it more than once. And then you can see it's formatted fairly nice. Let's add one more thing, one more item to this page. And let's dynamically add a design attribute. So we're going to go back into our console, go down to design, and design attributes are used to get information from the user when they set up the page, and then we can render it onto the main component. So our first step here, I actually skipped a step, so we actually have to set up a variable to hold this value. So it's going to be aura attribute you need to give it a name equals greeting, and it's going to be of type equals string. Then we need to close the element, save it. Oh, I didn't put my double quote after string. So once we have that there, we can finish on the design component. So we basically set the component, the same thing here, but we want to do design attribute name equals greetings and a default label. We're just going to leave it empty. So we're going to save it. And let's double check. We have the attribute called greeting, the type string. And we need to make sure this attribute and this name are the same. They look the same to me, so I'm going to try and save it one more time. All right, what we're going to do for now is save it and then go back here. And this is where our error is coming from. And most likely I spelled it wrong. So now I should be able to save it. Now we can go back into the design attribute, make sure I spell it right. name equals greeting. We're going to say the label equals empty string, and then we'll close it off. We'll save this. And now if we go back and we go back to setup, we're going to see if we click on the component, now you're going to see a text box. We forgot to put the label in, or I left it as an empty string, so there's no label in the designer. So let's go back here, enter greeting. We'll save the component again, and then go back to the page, and let's do a refresh. So you can see now it has the label. So what we're going to do here is before we enter a value in there, we'll go back to the component, and on the page, we're going to make a reference to this variable. So your reference is going to be v dot greeting from up here. And then let's put a space in. Have one too many ampersands. And then let's save it. So now we'll go back to our page and we'll enter hello. We'll save it. And then we'll go back to the page. And we'll force a refresh. And you can see now that takes that value and inserts it into the page. So that's a very high-level overview of building a Lightning component. In my advanced course, I go into much more detail of how to use the server-side controllers to pull data from Salesforce into controllers, and also a lot more in depth on building complex components. Hope you like this video and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.